Good day, Royals. This is Pasisaria once again for another module this week. So last time we tackled about the other geological hazard, and for this week we will about to talk about fire hazards. Okay? So I am very happy that you are here to watch and listen to my discussion. Okay, let's talk about fire hazards. But first, we need to know what is fire. So, fire was considered by the ancient Greeks as a major element just like earth, water, and air. However, unlike earth, water, and air, which take the form of solid, liquid, and gas, respectively, fire is not a form of water. Okay? So, fire is a part of a very rapid and usually persistent chemical reaction called oxidation. So when you say oxidation, it involves the combination of oxygen and other substances. Okay? So let's go to fire tetrahedron. So when you say fire tetrahedron, it is a triangular pyramid that serves as a visual aid to remind us of the four important ingredients required to initiate and sustain fire. So meron po tayong apat na importanteng elemento para makabuo tayo ng apoy. Okay, what are those four important elements? So first, we have heat. Second, we have oxygen. Next, we have fuel. And then, an inhibited chemical reaction. Okay, so when all four ingredients are present in the right amount, a fire will occur naturally. Okay, so by removing, kapag may inalis ka na one ingredients doon sa apat na elements na yon, pwede siyang mag-prevent ng sunog or fire. Okay, next, let's go to heat. What is heat? It is energy that flows from an object of high temperature to an object of low temperature. It should be an amount which is enough to liberate the vapor from solid and liquid forms fuel and cause ignition. So here we have three methods in which heat is being transferred. So the first one, we have what we call conduction. So when you see conduction, it involves direct contact of substances, typically solids, for heat to be transferred. So I have an example here. So the first thing, we have the conduction. So what is conduction again? Transfer of energy between adjacent molecules. Then next, we have convection. So when you see convection, it involves the flow of liquids and gases in the transfer of heat. And lastly, we have radiation. It is a manner of heat transfer that involves only electromagnetic waves like sunlight, or in the case of fire or flame. Okay? Next, we have fuel. So when you say fuel, it is any solid, liquid, or gaseous substance that can be burned. Okay? For combustion to take place, fuels must be converted into the gaseous state. This is because combustion actually takes place just above the solid of liquid fuel where vapors are escaping. Okay, so we have um, pyrolysis and vaporization. So when you say pyrolysis, it is the chemical decomposition of solid fuels which produces gas fuel through the application of heat. And then next, we have vaporization. It is the production of fuel gases from liquid fuels. Okay, next we have ox oxidizing agent. So this is oxidizing agent, okay? So when you say oxidizing agent, it is also known as oxidizer or oxidant. Okay, it is an element or compound which releases oxygen or other oxidizer during a chemical reaction. Okay, so this one as you seen on the photo, that is an example of oxidizing agent. Okay, so let's go to the stages of fire. So the first one we have ignition. So when you say ignition stage, at this stage, all four requirements of a fire have been combined. So nag-combine yung apat na elements. So the fire is very small that it can still be controlled by a portable fire extinguisher or a small hose line. So dito sa ignition stage, hindi pa ganun kalala yung sunog. Okay? Yung sunog ay maliit pa lamang at pwede mo pa siyang makontrol o mapatay. Okay? So, pwede rin siyang mamatay ng, it may even go out on its own. Okay, so recognizing this stage of a fire is crucial in successfully extinguishing or escaping the fire before it causes destruction. So it is also very important na dito sa ignition stage pa lamang ay na-control mo na yung apoy para hindi pa lumala. So next one, we have what we call growth stage. So when you see growth stage, um, it takes place when the heat release rate increases of the burning of additional fuel. The rate of growth of a fire is dependent on the amount of available oxygen. Okay? So, dito sa growth stage daw, kapag nag-release ng maraming oxygen, so mas malaki yung chances na mas lalong lumaki yung fire. Okay? So during this stage, a rollover may occur. This happens when gases rise to the ceiling and cause fire to spread out horizontally in a rolling manner. So burning only gases and not any other material. So if heat continues to build, this may lead to a flashover. So when you say flashover, it is the non-explosive, okay, an abrupt spread of fire through the air to almost all exposed combustible objects due to burning of vapors of objects which have reached their auto-ignition temperature. Okay, next we have the fully developed fire stage. So during this stage, fire has consumed almost all of the available combustible materials. So ayun nga, halos nasunog na lahat ng mga pwedeng masunog na bagay. Okay, so oxygen is being consumed rapidly and maximum temperatures are reached. Okay, that is fully developed fire stage. So dito malala na yung sunog. And the number 4, decay stage. The decay stage, which lasts the longest, take place when oxygen and fuel begins to diminish. Okay, the fire consumes the remaining fuel. During this stage, the temperature decreases significantly and the fire becomes weaker. Okay, so do not assume that this fire situation is already under control. Okay, so it can start a new fire, okay, if it is not entirely extinguished. There is also a possibility that backdraft may occur. Okay, so what is backdraft? So it is an explosive fire that happens due to the sudden introduction of oxygen into an enclosed structure like a house which has been deprived of air for quite some time. Okay, that is what we call backdraft. So next, what are wildfires? So wildfires is any natural or anthropogenic cause uncontrolled fire in remote areas where there is extensive combustible vegetation or organic material like forests, grassland, shrublands, brushlands, scrublands, and wetlands. So here, nangyayari 'to mostly sa mga mountains natin, 'di ba? Nagkakaroon ng wildfires kung saan nasusunog yung mga puno, okay, yung mga organic material. So, ano nga ba yung nagko-cause ng wildfire? Ano yung nagpapalala dito? Yung strong winds, okay? Yung continuous supply ng oxygen, yun yung mga nagpapalala o nagti-trigger doon sa sunog. So we have what we call types of wildfire. So the first one, we have ground fires. So what is ground fires? Involves burning of buried decomposed organic matter and extensive tree root system. The smoldering fire associated with the burning of root is particularly dangerous because even when the fire already seems to have been extinguished, the smoldering fire can actually ensue for days or months underground and then resurface again somewhere along any of the large network or routes. Okay, so here daw, when you see ground fires daw, even though na-extinguish na yung above ng surface ng earth, hindi mo pa rin alam kung yung underground ba ay so, hindi mo kasi alam na underground meron pa ring continuous combustion, okay? So, that is what you call ground fires. Kapag surface fires naman involves the burning of fuel scattered on the surface like fallen leaves, branches, stems, tree cuttings, and dried up low-lying vegetation like shrubs and grasses. So, ito naman dito kung yung kapag if ever na pumunta kayo sa mga forest or mountains, mapapansin niyo dun yung mga dried leaves, yung mga, branches ng trees, mostly um, yun yung mga involved sa sunog kapag surface fires, okay? So next we have crown fire. So when you see crown fires, burn tree canopies, other higher parts of trees and suspended materials like vine. This type of wildfire spreads very rapidly because of the strong winds which supply more and more oxygen. Okay, so here naman sa crown fire, yung intensity ng apoy na to ay napaka sufficient para masunog yung mga trees. Okay, because dahil nga sa mga sa lakas ng supply ng oxygen. Okay, so next here, let's go to fighting different types of fires. Okay, so dito meron tayong iba't iba. We have class A, class B, class C, class D, at class K. Kapag sinabi mong class A, ito yung fire involves fuel such as cloth, wood, paper, plastics, rubber, and trash. Okay, making the fuel cool below ignition temperature can extinguish the fire. For this type of fire, simply using water can put out the fire. So, yun yung class A. Sa class B naman, it involves combustible liquid fuel such as alcohols, gasoline, lacquers, oil-based paint, petroleum oil and grease, solvents, and combustible gas such as propane and butane. Cooking oils and grease are not included. These fall under another class. So this type of fire can be extinguished by forming a blockade between oxygen and the fuel. For instance, by applying a layer of foam, these fires are very hazardous and usually are hard to extinguish by using only water. So sa class B naman, hindi mo lamang siya mapapatay sa gamit ng tubig. Hindi katulad sa Class A na pwede ka pang gumamit ng tubig sa pagpatay nito. Sa Class B, kailangan mong gumamit ng blockade between oxygen at saka fuel. At sa pamamagitan ng pag-apply ng foam, layer of foam. Okay, so sa Class C naman, fire involved fuel that belong to either Class A or B, but which also involve powered electrical equipment like home appliances, motors, and transformers. So this type of fire requires knowledge of special techniques and a- agents, usually carbon dioxide or dry chemical agents, required to be extinguished. So dito daw sa Class C, andito na yung tinatawag, kasama na dito yung Class A at saka Class B. But involved din dito yung powered electrical equipment, katulad ng appliances niyo sa bahay, yung mga motors, transformers. So, paano nga ba ito mai-extinguish or mamamatay yung apoy? Sa pamamagitan ng paggamit daw ng carbon dioxide or dry chemical agents. Okay? So, dahil daw sa involvement ng electricity, um, it's very dangerous na gumamit ka ng water sa pagpatay ng sunog dito sa Class C. Okay, let's proceed to Class D. So, Class D fire involved combustible metals such as aluminum, lithium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, titanium, and zirconium. Automobiles usually contain most of these combustible metals. Extinguishing such fires by using only water is very difficult. Okay, so dito naman sa Class D, hindi pwedeng tubig lamang ang gagamitin mo sa pagpatay ng sunog. Kasi napaka-extreme yung high temperature ng fire dito. It can So, bakit nga ba mataas yung temperature dito? Kasi nga, nag-split kasi yung hydrogen at saka yung oxygen. Kaya result siya sa matindi o malakas na combustion and even explosion. So, ano yung nga ba yung maaari mong gamitin para mamatay yung apoy dito sa Class D? Pwede kang gumamit ng salt-based special powders and clean dry sand na pwedeng gamitin para i-extinguish yung fire. Okay, lastly, we have Class K. So, fire involved fuels such as cooking oils and grease. Animal and vegetable fat derived, extinguishing this fire type by water is also very dangerous. So, sa Class K, hindi rin pwedeng gagamit ka ng tubig para ma-extinguish yung fire. Okay? So, this kind of fire, only a fully protected firefighter should deal with these such fires. Okay? So that is Class K. So let's go to choosing fire extinguishers. So there are many types of fire extinguishers. Some fire extinguishers can put out several classes of fire while other can be dangerous when used for a certain fire class. Okay, so once the type of fire has been identified, the most appropriate type of fire extinguisher can be chosen. Okay, so the first one, we have the water and foam. Water and foam extinguisher both isolate the heat element, while foam extinguisher block oxygen to prevent it from interacting with other elements in the fire tetrahedron. So, kapag water extinguisher, lagi siyang ginagamit sa Class A lamang at hindi sa Class B, C. Okay? So, kapag gumamit ka ng water doon sa Class B at saka C, mas lalong gagrabe yung apoy. Okay? So the second one, we have carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide extinguisher isolate the oxygen from the fuel in the fire tetrahedron and also reduce the heat due to the very cold emission. So dito, ang carbon dioxide daw ay napaka useful extinguisher kung saan na-isolate ang oxygen para hindi makompleto yung apat na elemento sa fire tetrahedron. Okay, the next one, we have dry chemical. So dry chemical extinguisher put out the fire mainly by breaking the continuity of the chemical reaction of the fire tetrahedron. So, an example of, ano ba nga ba yung mga example ng dry chemical? 'Di ba, meron tayong mga iba't ibang powder na pwedeng gamitin para hindi lumakas yung sunog. Okay? So, yung ganitong klaseng fire extinguisher na dry chemical, so pwede niyang ma-prevent yung oxygen at saka yung fuel na mag-interact. Okay? So, that's why dry chemical is also useful as an extinguishers. Next, we have wet chemical. So, when you say wet chemical, extinguishers, it removes the heat in the fire tetrahedron and prevent the fire from starting again by preventing the oxygen and fuel from interacting. So this is very useful also with chemical. Okay, it removes the heat and also it prevents the oxygen and fuel to interact. Kaya kaya hindi na that's why hindi na kumpleto yung four elements, kaya hindi mabubuo yung apoy. So next we have clean agent. So clean agent, this extinguisher, also known as halogenated extinguisher, contain halon agents and halocarbon agents, which are less harmful to the ozone. So these put out the fire mainly by breaking the continuity of the chemical reaction of the fire tetrahedron and are used commonly for class B and C fires. Okay, so that is clean agent. Next, dry powder. Dry powder extinguishers only cause D uh, only class D fires by preventing the oxygen and fuel from interacting or by removing the heat in the fire tetrahedron. So dito daw ang dry powder mostly ginagamit siya sa class D. Okay, kapag sinabi mong class D, ito yung involved kung saan meron yung aluminum, lithium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, titanium, and zirconium. Okay, so yun yung class D. Mostly ginagamit ang dry powder sa class D. And then, last we have water mist. Water mist extinguisher put out primarily class A fires, but could work well for class C fires by isolating the heat elements from the other elements of fire tetrahedron. Okay? So, mostly daw, ginagamit daw na extinguisher ang water mist sa Class A fires. Pwede rin siya sa Class C kasi ina-isolate niya yung heat element, okay, from the other elements. Okay, so let's go to fire extinguisher use and maintenance. So, we have a helpful mnemonic code on how to use a fire extinguisher during an emergency. It is PASS. P-A-S-S. So, when you say P, pull the pin. And A, aim the extinguisher hose nozzle at the base of the fire from a safe distance. Okay, kailangan mo look at the number 2. You need to aim the nozzle. Okay? Then next, S. Number 3, S is squeeze the layer to dispense the extinguishing agent. So you need to squeeze that one. Okay? Look at the number 3 on the photo. That one, you need to squeeze the handle. Okay? And lastly, sweep the hose nozzle sideways until the fire is completely extinguished. Make sure that the fire has indeed been put out. So we have, once again, pass, pull, aim, squeeze, and then sweep. So fire extinguishers should also be regularly inspected and maintained according to the specification indicated uh, on the user's manual. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you learned a lot from me. Um, Goodbye.